everyone, it's Shel from Paper Rock TO Studio, and today I'm sharing with you another index card a day video. This is a challenge that's for Daisy Yellow Art. That's who hosts the challenge, and every day you make an index card, and these are days 19, 20, and 21. I started out day 19 with a card that had a bunch of stuff on it. This is mostly Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist that I cleaned up when I was doing another project. I just cleaned it up, with the brush and put it on this. And then there's also some stamping on there where I was cleaning off a stamp that I used on that other project. It was a postcard for a swap that I was in. So I decided to just do some exclusion on it using some white gesso, and I made a pencil drawing, which you can't see, and I can't really see it either. I'm having a little bit of trouble with my painting, as you can see me turning it and holding it up and trying to figure out what I'm doing. Can't find the pencil lines. But I didn't want to draw it in black because I'm not planning on inking it at all, so I wanted to just make the pencil lines disappear using the white gesso. So I'm using a flat brush, and it's a pretty small brush, I'm not sure the size, and just going around the outside of the pencil lines and creating the picture by excluding things that are not in the picture, if that makes sense. I'm excluding the background. That's why I call it excluding. And these are just some tulips that I drew. Really simple little drawing, and I'm putting a couple coats on of the gesso as I go around because it's not completely covering it up. I don't want it to be completely obliterated. I want there to be some pattern and visual interest, but mostly gone. And then I'm just getting out the same colors of Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist and applying them just to create some shadows with this plum color. I'm not sure what the name of the color is, but just using it with the brush, and it works really well for a very shimmery, glimmery watercolor, like a liquid watercolor. So I'm just doing that. Then I've got some dark green to do the leaves and stems. So this is a pretty simple card. It's not rocket science. I don't think rocket scientists, most of them probably don't make art, I would say. I mean, maybe making a rocket and designing it and making it all cool out of your imagination is indeed art. It's just all about perception, I suppose. That's a brown color glimmer mist that I used on the bottom there. And then I'm just using the little straw that's on the inside to apply a little bit more color directly from the bottle. That works too. And I'm also going to use it to splatter, which works really well. It's got some of the mist, in the little tube because you've been using it as a sprayer, so it sucks it up, and then that little excess works really well to apply with the plastic or to splatter. And once this is dry, I'm going to use my fine tip Posca pen in white. I'm not using any black on this project at all. I'm just adding definition and highlights using the white Posca pen. So it gives it a different look. There aren't any lines around the edges with the black like you might see me do, because I seem to want to do that a lot. I like to draw in my pictures with black around the edges. I think it's the illustrator in me. I don't know. And then I'm adding some stamens to my little tulips with an orange Posca pen because I realized I didn't leave any stamens on them. And they might need those to attract the hummingbirds and the butterflies in order to spread their pollen. Then I'm just writing tulips on the bottom there with purple and going around the edges with the watering can gray archival ink. And that will be the end of day number 19. Pretty simple little card. And here's your close-up. Turned out pretty good. So for day 20, I still have a bunch of cards here that I've tried different experimental stuff on, mostly with mist because I've been trying some different techniques. This one is actually jelly printed with Tattered Angels mist because I was trying that out. And then I used my small brayer and went over it with some white gesso to tone it down. And then now I'm using a stencil from, I believe it's from Mr. Huey's. I got it at Tuesday Morning for really cheap. And I used Dyna, oh my gosh, PBO Dyna paint in probably blue-green or green-blue, maybe blue-yellow, I don't know. Anyway, it's very shimmery and pretty cool on the background of the darker green. I liked the effect it had. Kind of reminded me of old wallpaper. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I'm making a pencil drawing here, and I've just sped it up because you can't really see what I'm doing. So you can see that I'm drawing, not really sure what I'm drawing. It's actually some teacups and a teapot because I was having hot tea, and I really like hot tea, especially with a little bit of sweetener and cream. And so I'm a tea person instead of a coffee person, and I just wanted to make a tea card because it's what I felt like doing. The Daisy Yellow challenge has prompts if you want to join in. I mean, you know, you start when you start, you finish when you finish. So if you still want to join in, you certainly can. Just go to daisyyellowart.com and check it out. But she does provide prompts, and I just never use them. I'm such a bad prompt person. I just want to make the art that I want to make that day. And this day it was tea. That's just kind of how I am. But the prompts are useful if you don't know what to do that day. If you just don't have any ideas and you're not thinking about anything except for maybe going back to bed, but you don't feel like drawing a bed and you in it, then you can use the prompts. An interesting one, I think it was maybe today or yesterday, was 1960. Like, what would you make? I don't know. I didn't think about it. But it might be kind of fun. There's been some pretty interesting ones. So, in case I didn't mention it, these are my Inktense pencils. And Inktense pencils are the ones that are water soluble when you draw them on there, but then once they dry, they're permanent. And I'm just using them as watercolor pencils today and just coloring in my teacups and teapot. And it looks like I had 4 cups of tea. Man, I was liking tea. I really only had 2, but you know, 4, 2, it's all the same. I'm also using these to color in, and I'm just activating it with a water barrel brush on it. It has a very fine brush on the end. Using it to shade, using it to color the whole thing. So it's pretty fun. I like doing it. There's a lot of coloring here, so I guess what should we talk about? Well, I'm supposed to say, if you like this video, please leave me a comment so that I know that you've been here. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, because then you can see more videos. And of course, share it by posting it to Facebook or Pinterest or something like that if you know somebody who might be interested in this video. And the reason that I say all those things is because if you do that, then YouTube understands that I'm making something that people like, and then they share it with other people who might not have seen it yet. And that really is helpful for me and helpful for the people who haven't found my video yet and might like it. So it'd be great if you do any of those things. That would be awesome. I know sometimes you don't feel like you have something to say, but even if you just leave me a comment saying, you know, good job, I enjoyed your video. That really makes my day, and I'll respond to you. I respond to everyone that leaves me a comment because I'm extremely grateful that people care enough to leave me a comment. So I just have randomly picked colors. The thing, I haven't made a chart for these pencils, and I probably should because I don't really know. I don't think that the colors on the ends are very representative of what they actually are. Like this one is burgundy, but it looks like, I don't know, some type of a purple, the paint on it. So I need to make a color chart with these, and I would just rather make art than make color charts, so I don't get around to them very often. Unless it's something that only has like 12 colors, but this has, I don't know, is that 36 or 48 colors? That's a lot of swatching. I don't think I want to do that anytime soon, but I should, because then I could look at the chart and find out what color I'm actually using before I put it on. Because really the teapot came out kind of dark in comparison to the other stuff, but it's because the color I picked wasn't what I expected. So now that all my coloring is done, I'm just using my Faber-Castell Pet Artist Pens, and this is the size small, to go over all the lines, because I'm an illustrator at heart, and this is what I like to do, is draw black lines around things. And then I've got this gold pen, and this one is a Sharpie poster paint pen, which is their water-based paint, their water-based acrylic pen, which they're really nice. You can find them pretty easily too at Michael's. They have white. If you don't have a Posca, it's a good substitute for a Posca pen in white and black, you know, because it will ride over pretty much anything, and it's an acrylic, but it's water-based, so it's not stinky, because their other paint pens are stinky. And then I'm just stamping Tea Time on there with my watering can dark gray archival ink. And then I just drew in a little tea bag hanging off one of the cups, because it seemed like that side needed something to balance the composition a little bit. Then I'm drawing around the letters. And then I decide I need something over on this other side, so I draw a heart. And then I'm going to color that in with the pencils again and shade around the outside with the brown. And then this card will be done. I think it's pretty cute. I like it. And here's your close-up. All right, so day 21, I went to breakfast with my mother at a place called First Watch, which used to be called Good Egg, and it's a restaurant that has just breakfast, brunch, and lunch. They're not open for dinner, and it's locally sourced, fresh, you know, conscious of the environment type, you know, those type of foods. We like to go there. And I've been going there, whenever I've been going there, I've been collecting these little pieces of paper that you see there on the right. They're wrapped around the silverware, and they're sticky, you know, they wrap around and are sticky. And I think they're funny. I think they're funny, so I've been collecting them and thinking I was going to put them on something. And today I'm going to put them on something, because I collected yet another one that had a different saying. Sometimes they're the same, sometimes they're different, and I have 3 different ones here. So I decided that I would make a bacon card. So I'm trying to make my card look like bacon. So there's the fat marbling in there, and now I'm putting on some crusty bits where it's been cooked in the pan with a little spatter stamp going around the edges. This is my bacon card. Kind of looks like bacon. Not exactly, but pretty good. Then I'm just going to corner around. That's my corner biter because it bites the corners off cards. And I've also got some wavy decorative shears because you know how if you cook bacon flat, it on the edges it curls and waves. It looks kind of like a scallop on the edges. So I decided to use it into my design to make the idea of the edges of cooked bacon, because that's just how my mind works. So I'm trimming out the excess paper off of these and then biting the corners and then using my little wavy shears to trim. Then I decide I'm going to trim the whole card because if it's bacon, then it should have wavy edges on the edges. So I do that and then go back with my potting soil colored ink pad and ink it back up again because I cut off some of the parts that I had inked. And now I've got matte medium in a paste format, which is, this is the golden one. And I'm going to stick these down to my card, these little sayings. The funniest one is, my favorite color is bacon. My favorite color is bacon. That's funny. So next I have my archival ink in potting soil color, and I'm using a little heart stamp to stamp hearts around there because, you know, it was all about loving bacon and loving breakfast. And then heat it up to get everything dry, and now I've got my Faber-Castell Pitt brush pens, and this is kind of somewhere between burgundy and rust colored pen, and I'm coloring in all the open letters just to make it look more cohesive and bring the colors of the background into the foreground. Then going around the edges with my brown and smearing to make a little more definition around the edges of the paper. I don't know what this paper's called. There's probably a technical term for it. Napkin ring. It's a napkin ring, I guess. A paper napkin ring. Then I decide that I need a heart, and so I punched one out of burgundy paper, and then I'm going to put it on there with a dimensional tape stuff to make it stand out. Then put some of that clear dimensional glue stuff on there that dries like a dome over it. And then I'm adding some copper micro beads, which get all over the desk. They're driving me crazy. But once it's dry, it'll be really cool. So that pretty much finishes up this card. This was a real quick one, which makes the total video a little bit shorter. So thanks for watching, and that's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.